Well, hello, Michelle.
Hi, Stephen, in rather extraordinary circumstances.
Extraordinary indeed. Now, you say in one of your columns today in the conversation that Malcolm Turnbull arrives at the job of Prime Minister with both charisma and baggage. Let's start with charisma. He and Tony Abbott come from similar backgrounds, similar education and training. What is it that Malcolm Turnbull will bring to the role that Tony Abbott couldn't?
Malcolm Turnbull's a more effective salesman than Tony Abbott. He's also, in all the polling for a long time, much more popular, so he would be inclined to go down better in the community. Certainly Tony Abbott has been extremely unpopular, and we've seen this in the Canning by-election. All the feedback's been negative about Tony Abbott. So Malcolm Turnbull starts from a much better base.
But the baggage, he's not a Mike Baird, so he's been around before, he's been leader before. Do you think that the baggage, as you put it, is a problem for him?
Potentially the baggage is a problem. When he was opposition leader, he really did not manage the party well. He doesn't tolerate fools, he does have a temper, and he really lets people know when he thinks that they're on the wrong track. And in a party that is a broad church, and he emphasised himself last night that broad church, you've got to accommodate as many people as possible. So he does start with some problems. He also starts, of course, now with a different sort of baggage. While many people in the community will welcome this change, there will be a feeling among some that this is just another case of leadership roundabouts, of backstabbing, of all the bad behaviour that people didn't like to see under Labor. And we have seen a bit this morning in Talkback Radio of that sort of sentiment. People are really reacting against the way this was done, even though there are many differences with what happened, for example, when Julia Gillard deposed Kevin Rudd, the late night coup. At least this had been going on for a while. It was not unexpected in the broad, although on the day it was very unexpected.
When Julia Gillard deposed, as you put it, Kevin Rudd, she was restrained in what she said, whereas when Malcolm Turnbull challenged or announced that he was challenging on Monday afternoon, it was, I thought, a devastating surgical speech pinpointing the weaknesses in Tony Abbott's approach to the role. Which made me wonder, how long planned do you think this move was?
Oh, I think it was planned from the day, well, not quite the day Tony Abbott deposed Malcolm Turnbull way back in 2009, because of course a few months later Malcolm Turnbull announced he would leave Parliament. Yes. He then changed his mind, and I think from about that time on he had in his mind to try to get back the leadership. He was a bit like Kevin Rudd in a way, in that ambition. But I think that all this year at least the move has been planned in a general sense. Now, in February, when there was that unsuccessful spill motion, Malcolm Turnbull didn't put up his hand. Why? Because he didn't have the numbers. Whenever he had the numbers, he was going to move, and this week, even though it's before the Canning by-election, he obviously assessed he had the numbers. Why wait? Danger in waiting, for example, if Canning had been better for Tony Abbott than expected. So he has had this on the boil for quite a while, and boil over came yesterday.
So looking ahead, Tony Abbott presumably goes to the back benches, at least for a while. You say in your piece today that unlike Kevin Rudd, Tony Abbott has no comeback capacity whatever. And yet Tony Abbott, you've described previously as a conservative warrior, someone who doesn't give up. What makes you so sure that he himself wouldn't attempt to come back?
Kevin Rudd was always popular with the public, even though he was for a while not so popular. They were critical of him, but that popularity gave him the potential to come back. Tony Abbott has never been popular with the public. There would be no reason at any stage, however Malcolm Turnbull might do, for them to turn again to Tony Abbott, for the party to turn again to him.
Well, finally, Michelle, the Taroona Fire Brigade in Tasmania today has put out a tweet saying that it's time to check the battery in our smoke alarms because Australia has a new Prime Minister. And it makes me ask, how long can Australia go on with this political instability that seems to have plagued us for at least 5 years?
Well, that tweet seems to make the most of every opportunity, and we certainly need fire alarms in Parliament House for these leadership spills. But I think, to take the question seriously, that people are really disenchanted with the way Australian politics is being played out, both through those Labor years and now, even though the change will probably do the Liberal Party a good deal of good if Malcolm Turnbull can handle the fallout, and many people will be relieved to see it. They will nevertheless feel that this constant turnover is a really dysfunctional part of our system. It works against good government and good policy, but whether it can be changed, who would know?
Well, we'll talk again in a few days' time and no doubt rake over the embers of this. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Stephen.